The sky above Earth burned gold and red as the alien fleet descended, their ships the size of mountains casting shadows across entire continents. The first of them entered orbit in silence, followed by thousands more. Smooth obsidian vessels humming with power older than humanity's sun. The Galactic Council had come not to talk this time, but to judge. At the edge of the solar system, Earth's defense grid stood ready. Rows of human battleships floated in formation, their black hulls shining under the glare of distant stars. The alien fleet outnumbered them 50-1, but the humans did not retreat. Each ship in the Terran defense line moved with the precision of a heartbeat. Every motion was calculated, every silence deliberate. Humanity had learned that in space, even stillness could be a weapon. In the command center aboard the flagship Eclipse Dawn, Admiral Marcus Hale stood before a holographic map of the fleet. The alien forces were closing in, their formation tightening around the blue marble of Earth. His officers waited for orders, faces pale but steady. They knew what was at stake. Council ships are broadcasting a planetary lockdown decree, the comms officer said. They're calling it Judgment Protocol. If we resist, they'll fire. Marcus nodded slowly. Let them aim, he said. His voice carried through the deck like quiet thunder. We won't fire first, but we won't kneel either. Beyond the viewport, the alien fleet formed a glowing arc, each ship radiating blue-white energy. They expected Earth to surrender. Humanity had always been small to them, fragile, impulsive, too young to belong in the galaxy's grand order. But this time things were different. The Eclipse Dawn pulsed a coded signal. Across the defense grid, invisible networks came alive. Human satellites disguised as civilian weather stations linked into one vast array. Quantum relays aligned. A pulse of light rippled through space, subtle and clean. To the alien observers, it looked like nothing. But to the humans, it was everything. A shield woven not from metal but from synchronized timing and electromagnetic resonance. The first alien blast came like a second sunrise. It struck Earth's orbit at a fraction of light speed, a beam that could shatter moons. Yet it dispersed on impact, scattering into harmless light. The alien admiral stared in disbelief. Phase resonance field held, said Marcus quietly. Send message to the Council flagship. The message was short, one line. Earth stands. In the alien council chambers above Saturn's rings, 1,000 voices erupted in argument. They had expected fear, not defiance. They had expected begging, not strategy. Humans, they whispered, were still playing with fire they did not understand. The council chair rose, his voice echoing through the hall. Your people have violated galactic accords, he declared, addressing the image of Admiral Hale projected before him. You disturbed the veiled sleepers, creatures forbidden to wake. Their seals are breaking because of your experiments. You risked the end of all things. Marcus stared back, unblinking. We didn't wake anything, he said. Something responded to us. There's a difference. The council chamber filled with murmurs. The alien envoys exchanged wary looks. They knew the legends. 22 entities locked away before recorded history, hidden beyond the spiral rim, sealed in stasis fields by civilizations long extinct. They were called predators, not for what they hunted, but for what they once protected the galaxy from. Explain this response, the chair demanded. Before Marcus could answer, another human appeared on the transmission feed, a woman standing in a dim-lit room filled with data streams and heart monitors. Ambassador Elena Rios, Earth's representative to the Council, her calm presence cutting through the storm. The response came from within human biology, she said. A single frequency registered across every deep scan sensor. It wasn't a weapon. It was a heartbeat. The chamber went silent. A heartbeat? One of the Valnari delegates hissed. Impossible. No living creature resonates at that amplitude. Not even a supernova worm can reach that range. Elena held their gaze. And yet our instruments recorded it. The source is human, female, 17 years old. Laughter rippled through the alien envoys, cruel and nervous. To them, the idea that a human heartbeat could disturb the galaxy's most dangerous relics was absurd. But the laughter died when the Council's deep sensors flickered. A holographic projection filled the center of the chamber, an ancient stasis vault floating in the void of the Dusk Veil sector. It trembled. Cracks of molten gold spread across its surface. A sound followed, low, slow, and terrifyingly alive. Then silence. One of the stasis seals had broken. On Earth, Elena turned from the screen. Marcus's face was pale now, but not with fear, with realization. "It's not us they're waking up to," he murmured. "It's her." The council erupted again. Some demanded the extermination of the human race before the rest awakened. Others argued for containment, though no one knew how to contain what hadn't even fully awoken. The chair's voice thundered above them all. "Earth will surrender the human responsible," he ordered. "Fail to comply and we will cleanse your world." The transmission cut. Elena's breath trembled, but her eyes stayed sharp. "We can't hand over a child," she said. "Especially one we don't understand." Marcus nodded. "Then we protect her." Far beyond the solar system, in the shadows of a dying moon, something vast stirred beneath the surface. Dust and rock crumbled as the first of the predators opened its eyes, a pair of golden lights that reflected the stars themselves. Its pulse matched the rhythm of a distant human heartbeat. Back in orbit, the alien fleets began to reposition. Their weapons hummed with unstable energy. The Council had decided, if Earth refused, they would strike without warning. But humanity had already moved ahead. Quantum relays across the system aligned to new coordinates. Earth's defense grid shimmered again, this time bending light itself. A faint shimmer spread across space, turning invisible. "Admiral," said one of the officers, eyes wide. "They can't see us." "Good," Marcus replied. "Then they'll never see what comes next." The alien admirals watched in confusion as their targeting systems failed. Earth's ships vanished from detection, then reappeared miles behind enemy lines. Dozens of alien vessels exploded before they realized what had happened. Humans weren't faster, stronger, or older. They were clever. They made chaos into strategy. The battle ended in a draw, but the message was clear. Humanity could fight gods and live to tell the story. Hours later, in a sealed chamber under the Atlantic, Elena watched a young girl sleep inside a stasis capsule. Her heart monitor flickered in rhythm with the same pulse that had shaken the galaxy. Each beat was stronger than before. "She doesn't know what she is," whispered the doctor beside her. "If she wakes fully..." Elena looked at the pulse trace on the screen. For a moment it formed a pattern, a symbol no human could have written. "She already has," Elena said softly. Above them the sky trembled again. Somewhere across the dark edges of the galaxy, 21 other stasis pods stirred in response. The galaxy didn't know it yet, but its oldest guardians were waking up, and their eyes were opening toward one place, Earth, and the heartbeat that had called them home. The dark side of Jupiter burned with streaks of red plasma as human and alien fleets clashed in orbit. The explosions lit the gas giant storms like fire across the clouds. Thousands of alien warships surrounded a single human dreadnought, the Sentinel Prime. Its black hull was cracked, but it still fought like a living beast. The Galactic Council had declared Earth in violation of the Celestial Accord. They demanded humanity surrender the girl who caused the awakening, the heartbeat that disturbed the ancient sleepers. Humanity refused. The aliens expected surrender. Instead, the humans answered with silence, and silence meant war. The Sentinel Prime floated at the center of the storm, its reactor core glowing a deep blue. Alien plasma torpedoes raced toward it hundreds at once, but they vanished mid-flight, bending away as if space itself twisted. On the command deck, Captain Rhea Kellen watched the battle unfold, her jaw tight. "Phase deflection holding," reported her officer. "But it won't last." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Good. Let them come closer." The alien fleet adjusted formation, confident in their overwhelming power. They had seen humanity's tricks before: gravity bombs, EMP traps, stealth screens, but nothing that could turn their own weapons aside. They did not yet understand what was protecting the Sentinel Prime. In the ship's lower decks, deep inside the shielded chamber, a young girl sat strapped to a monitoring chair. Her name was Lyra Vance. Her heartbeat echoed through the chamber walls, soft but steady, and every beat sent a wave through the ship's systems. The resonance field that bent the alien attacks was not mechanical. It was biological. Her heart was the generator. Rhea's voice came through the comm. "Lyra, it's time. Do you feel it?" "Yes," Lyra whispered. "They're close." Her pulse quickened. Sensors spiked. The field expanded, warping space around the dreadnought. The alien ships fired again, but this time the energy reversed course. The plasma torpedoes curved in mid-space and detonated among the attackers. Half the alien line vanished in the blaze. The silence that followed was filled with static and disbelief. The Galactic Council's flagship transmitted a single message. "What have you created?" Rhea smiled coldly. "A heartbeat," she said. The Sentinel Prime broke formation and vanished in a flash of folded space, leaving the surviving alien armada spinning in disarray. Humanity had escaped, but the Council now knew the truth. Earth's most dangerous weapon was not a ship or a bomb, but a girl whose heartbeat could bend reality. Days later, far from the battlefield, the Sentinel Prime drifted in orbit above Europa. Below the frozen moon hidden beneath its icy crust was a secret human research facility. Inside, Earth's best scientists worked to understand Lyra's strange connection to the ancient predators. Dr. Imani Rhodes, lead scientist of the Resonance Project, stared at the data. Her body generates harmonic waves identical to the energy signatures of the Dusk Veil stasis vaults, she said. Her DNA carries quantum resonance markers. She's not enhanced or modified, she's evolved. Captain Rhea crossed her arms. Evolved from what? From Earth itself, Imani replied. During the solar flare of 2221, thousands of children were born with minor electromagnetic anomalies. Most faded with age, but hers didn't. Lyra stood near the observation window, watching Jupiter's red storms through the ice. When I was little, she said quietly, I used to hear sounds in my dreams, like voices under the water. They didn't feel angry. Just waiting, Imani turned. Waiting for what? Lyra hesitated. For me to wake them. The words chilled the room. Back in the Galactic Council's war chamber, chaos erupted. Reports from across the galaxy spoke of tremors, ancient structures vibrating, vaults pulsing with golden light. One of the alien representatives slammed his claws against the table. She's destabilizing the stasis seals. If they all awaken, the galaxy will burn. The council chair raised a hand. Prepare Task Fleet Omega. Capture the human child. If Earth resists, eliminate them. 20 hours later, alien fleets emerged from warp above Europa. Their shadows covered the moon like a storm front. On the Sentinel Prime, alarms screamed.
Multiple warp signatures,
shouted the tactical officer. They found us! Rhea barked orders. All hands to battle stations. Get Lyra to the core chamber. The girl was rushed through the corridors, her pulse syncing with the ship's energy grid. Lights flickered as the resonance field built strength. Outside, the alien ships formed a ring, preparing to fire a planetary strike. They won't risk damaging her, said the officer beside Rhea. Rhea shook her head. They don't care anymore. The first barrage hit. Europa's crust cracked, sending geysers of frozen vapor into space. The Sentinel Prime shuddered. Lyra's heart raced faster, the rhythm echoing through the entire fleet. Something answered. Deep in the Dusk Veil sector, one of the ancient vaults flared open. A creature rose from within, massive, winged, made of crystal and shadow. It let out a soundless roar that tore through subspace. Alien sensors went blind. On Europa, Lyra gasped. It's awake. What is? Asked Rhea. The first of them, Lyra whispered. It's coming. Within minutes, the creature emerged from hyperspace, appearing between Europa and the alien fleet. Its body glowed with golden veins. It moved without sound, but every movement distorted the stars around it. The alien commander panicked. Fire everything. Beams of plasma and antimatter struck the being's surface and dissolved like dust in sunlight. The creature turned, opening a massive eye that reflected the entire fleet within it. The ships froze. Their power died. On the Sentinel Prime, Lyra felt its gaze. It's listening to me, she said. It knows my pulse. Rhea gripped the console. Then tell it to stop. I can't, Lyra said softly. It's not attacking, it's remembering. The creature released a burst of energy, not as a weapon but as a signal. Across the galaxy, 21 more stasis vaults shimmered in response. Rhea's stomach sank. They're all waking up. The alien fleets broke formation, retreating in chaos. The Galactic Council, watching from their distant chambers, fell into silence. Their greatest fear was happening, the return of the 22 predators. Guardians or destroyers, no one could tell. On Europa, the Sentinel Prime hovered above the ice, surrounded by faint golden light. Lyra stood at the viewport, her heartbeat slowing. It stopped fighting, she said. It just wanted to see me. Rhea looked at her. Why you? I think, Lyra said. They were waiting for something human. Something alive. The first predator drifted away into deep space, leaving behind a calm that felt almost sacred, but its awakening had sent a message through every corner of the galaxy, a call that could not be silenced. The Council prepared for total war. Earth strengthened its defenses, aware that diplomacy had failed. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. This was not a war between species anymore. It was something older, something that had slept too long, and it had answered the rhythm of a single human heart. Far from the battlefields, on a quiet ship hidden in the shadow of Neptune, a lone signal pulsed through space. It was faint, barely audible, but distinct, 22 beats in perfect harmony. The girl's heartbeat had awakened something vast, and now the galaxy itself seemed to move to her rhythm. Captain Rhea watched the stars flicker one by one.
If this is what one heartbeat can do, she whispered, what happens when they all start listening?
No one answered. The comms were silent, but through the static, faint and steady, came the sound again. Soft, endless, unstoppable. A heartbeat echoing through the stars. The skies above Mars burned like molten glass. Alien warships filled the orbit, sleek and black, each one shaped like a blade. Their lights flickered red across the red planet's thin atmosphere. The Galactic Council had declared Earth's colonies outlawed territories, and the Armada had come to end the rebellion. Humanity's fleet stood in their path, small, outnumbered, but silent and ready. At the center of the line floated the Vanguard Halo, humanity's most advanced battleship. Its captain, Adrian Locke, stood before a wide viewport as the alien fleet spread into attack formation. The alien admiral's voice filled the comms, cold and sharp. "You were warned, human. You protect the girl who has doomed the galaxy. Hand her over or Mars will burn." Adrian didn't answer. His officers waited, hands shaking over their consoles. Every ship's reactor hummed, every turret locked onto enemy coordinates. The humans had less than 1/10 the firepower of the aliens, but they weren't planning to win through strength. They were planning to win through timing. The alien fleet began to move. Thousands of plasma rounds lit up the void, carving bright lines through the darkness. But before they struck, the human ships vanished from sight. For 3 seconds, the alien sensors went blind. When the sensors came back, the entire human fleet had changed position. They now surrounded the alien ships in a perfect circle. The alien admiral shouted in disbelief. "Impossible." They moved faster than light. Adrian smiled faintly. "Not faster," he said. "Smarter." A human scientist had once described the trick as resonant warp phasing. Using the same frequency as Lyra's heartbeat, the fleet had synchronized their drives, slipping through folded micro-pockets of space. It wasn't true teleportation, but it was close enough to make gods nervous. The alien fleet panicked, firing wildly, but every shot missed. The humans counterattacked, unleashing magnetic torpedoes guided by resonance pulses instead of light. Each one struck precisely where it was meant to, disabling but not destroying. Humanity didn't fight for conquest. They fought to prove they belonged. The Vanguard Halo held position as the alien fleet fell apart. Then came the sound, deep and slow, rumbling through space itself. A vibration that wasn't mechanical. It felt alive. Adrian's first officer, Mara, froze at her console. "Captain, we're getting a signal from the Dusk Veil sector." He turned. "How far?" 200,000 light years. "But it's..." Growing louder, the ship's lights dimmed. Static filled the comms. Then for a moment, every heartbeat aboard the ship stopped. Out beyond Mars, space itself began to bend. Something massive was coming. Lyra Vance appeared on the holographic display from the Sentinel Prime. Her face was pale, eyes wide. "Captain, it's one of them," she said. "The first predator." A shadow emerged from the void, blocking the stars. It was larger than any ship ever built, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Its movement was silent, graceful, and terrible. It had been asleep for 1,000,000 years. Now it was awake. The alien fleet opened fire in panic, unleashing beams of light and plasma storms. The creature didn't move. The attacks vanished as if swallowed by nothingness. Its massive eyes glowed with golden fire. Adrian gritted his teeth. "All human ships, hold your fire. Don't engage." But the aliens didn't listen. Their fear turned to rage, and they launched everything they had. The creature responded by moving once, just once. It turned its gaze toward them, and the space around 100 ships folded in on itself. They were gone, no debris, No explosion. Just gone. Lyra's voice trembled over the link. It's not trying to destroy them. It's absorbing energy. Learning from it, Mara whispered, then it's unstoppable. No, Adrian said. Nothing alive is unstoppable. He turned toward the comms. Lyra, if it's connected to your heartbeat, maybe it's listening. Try reaching it. Lyra closed her eyes. Her pulse quickened. The monitors aboard the Sentinel Prime showed her heartbeat and rhythm with the energy waves coming from the creature. I can feel it, she said. It's confused. It remembers pain. It remembers being betrayed. Adrian frowned. Betrayed by who? The Council, she said softly. They trapped them long ago. They told the galaxy they were monsters, but they were guardians. They were built to protect us from something else. The creature drifted closer to Mars, its golden eyes dimming. The alien ships retreated in chaos. Humanity held its line. Suddenly the creature spoke, not in sound, but through every ship's system. The translation software cracked and flickered until words formed on every screen. They broke the seal. The darkness returns. Lyra gasped. Captain, it's warning us. Something else is coming. What could make that afraid? Mara whispered. The Council's emergency broadcast filled every channel. Their leaders appeared pale and trembling. To all species within the galactic network, one declared, contain the human anomaly immediately. The awakening has begun. If it completes, the devourer will rise again. The feed cut. Adrian looked toward the glowing creature beyond Mars. You said it was a guardian, he said to Lyra. If it's afraid of this devourer, then maybe we should be too. The creature moved again, faster than any ship could track. It disappeared into the darkness between stars, leaving behind a silence that felt heavier than any war. Rhea Kellen's voice came through from the Sentinel Prime. We've lost contact with several Council stations, she said. Power failures, gravitational surges, like something's feeding off starlight itself. Adrian clenched his fists. And the Council still wants to blame us. They're scared, Rhea replied. They think if they destroy Lyra, it'll stop the awakening. Adrian looked out the viewport, watching the red storms of Mars swirl below. If the Council turns its fleets against Earth, he said, then humanity will stand alone again. But this time we're not the same species they first met. Across the fleet, human ships recharged their reactors. Every pilot, every commander, every soldier understood what was coming. The galaxy's oldest secret was breaking free. The Council was hiding something darker than anyone had guessed. In her chamber aboard the Sentinel Prime, Lyra sat alone. The hum of the engines matched her heartbeat. She saw flashes in her mind, images that weren't hers. Stars collapsing, worlds burning, a wall of darkness devouring everything it touched, and 22 lights standing against it, beings of gold once proud, now forgotten. She whispered into the silence. You woke up because of me. Now tell me how to stop it. Her heartbeat pulsed faster, echoing across the stars. Somewhere, far beyond known space, the other 21 predators stirred in answer. Each one felt her pulse. Each one remembered their purpose, and each one turned toward the same direction. Earth. The war for survival was no longer just between humans and aliens. It was between light and something older than the galaxy itself. As the fleets regrouped, Adrian watched the stars dim one by one. The Council wanted to control fear, he said quietly. But fear was never theirs to control. Lyra opened her eyes. The pulse of her heart matched the rhythm of the awakening. Then maybe it's time, she whispered, for humanity to remind the galaxy what it means to fight back. The comms filled with a steady sound, her heartbeat, magnified and resonating through every human ship. The Vanguard halo glowed with golden light as the fleet aligned to her rhythm. The aliens watching from afar didn't understand what they were seeing. But they felt it. The humans weren't retreating. They were preparing for something far bigger than war. The heartbeat continued, steady and strong, echoing through the black sea of stars, calling to the sleeping giants waiting beyond the rim. And one by one, across the galaxy, the ancient guardians opened their eyes. The human fleet hovered on the edge of the silent world, the planet where the signals had come from. Pulses too organized to be natural, too old to belong to anything living now. Every ship in orbit ran silent. Even the engines were cold, and the lights dimmed to red combat mode. On every monitor across the command bridge of the flagship Atlas Dawn, the planet's black surface glimmered faintly under the weak light of a dying star. It looked like stone, but scans told another story. Beneath the surface, there were heat signatures. Not random, not geological, rhythmic. Admiral Roan leaned forward, his voice steady but sharp. How many? The sensor officer hesitated, then said, 22. Exactly 22 distinct energy sources deep beneath the crust. Answer. They're synchronized. A chill spread across the command deck. The fleet had seen many strange worlds since joining the Galactic Council, but nothing that made veterans of 10 wars stand silent like this. Roan stared at the planet on the holotable. The signals pulsed again, a slow, deliberate thud that echoed across the radio bands like a heartbeat. He turned to the communications officer. Get me Earth Command, now. Seconds later, the hologram of Earth's defense director appeared, flickering blue in the red-lit room. Report, Admiral. Roan didn't waste time. Ma'am, we found something buried beneath the planet designated N9. 22 heat cores, aligned in a formation that matches no known architecture. But the energy readings, he paused. They're waking up. The director's eyes narrowed. You're certain? Every ship picked it up. Whatever they are, they've been dormant a long time, and they're reacting to something. The holo flickered as static washed through the signal. Then the director's voice came through, lower. Admiral, you're not going to like this. The Council archives just sent a flag. That planet wasn't uncharted. It was quarantined. They called it Vashra Prime. Every officer on the deck froze. The name was old, older than the Council itself. The Vashra were one of the first species to reach the stars, and the Council's earliest records spoke of them only in whispers. Apex predators, bioengineered to be perfect hunters, sealed away by their own creators when they became too dangerous to control. No one had ever found proof they still existed. Roan's jaw tightened. Why didn't the Council warn us? They didn't know we were there, the director said grimly. That system's supposed to be off limits. You need to pull the fleet out now. Before Roan could respond, the ship's lights flickered. The hum of the reactor dipped, then steadied again. The crew turned toward the forward viewport. On the surface of Vashra Prime, lines of molten orange light began to trace across the dark rock like veins beneath skin. The rhythmic pulses grew louder through the comms, deep enough to make the hull tremble. The planet was waking up. Roan's voice dropped to a whisper. Too late. The fleet erupted into motion. Ships rotated, shields raised, engines lit. The surface of Vashra Prime cracked open, and blinding light poured out as 22 massive forms began to rise, metallic, ancient, and alive. Each was the size of a small city, armored in black alloy with claws that glimmered like blades. They looked like creatures from nightmare, sculpted for war. The Vashra predators had awakened. Every fleet in human history had a doctrine for such a moment. If it moves and it's that big, run first, study later. Roan didn't move. He watched as one of the Titans turned its head toward orbit, and its eyes, two burning orange slits, opened. They see us, whispered the tactical officer. Good, Roan said coldly. Let's see if they bleed. He ordered all batteries to fire. Thousands of kinetic rounds and plasma beams tore through the darkness. The surface of the planet lit up like sunrise. Explosions rolled across the black crust, and for a moment it looked like the assault might work, until the creatures moved. The impacts bounced off invisible shields. One of them opened its mouth and released a sound that shattered every communication channel. The sound wasn't random, it was language. Ancient, guttural, but clear enough for the translators to struggle. They know the Council, said the linguistics officer, her voice trembling. They're saying we remember the ones who sealed us. Roan's blood ran cold. And they're asking where they are now, aren't they? Yes, sir, she said quietly. And they've detected us. They think we're part of them. On the planet below, one of the Titans raised a claw and traced a symbol in the air. The energy readings spiked. The communications officer shouted, Incoming massive energy surge. They're locking onto our fleet signatures. Evasive maneuvers. Roan barked. All ships scatter. Deploy chaff. The void exploded in light. Blue-white beams shot from the planet and pierced the dark, slicing through the formation. One cruiser vanished in a burst of plasma. Another ship spun out of control, hull burning. The Atlas Dawn shuddered as a shockwave tore through it. But humanity didn't break. Roan's voice cut through the chaos. Deploy counterfield. Full charge. Bring the gravity net online. The engineers obeyed without hesitation. Within seconds, a shimmering field expanded from the Atlas dawn. It bent the space around the fleet, distorting the beams, curving them back toward the planet. The Titans roared as their own energy slammed into them. For the first time, their shields flickered. Now, Roan shouted. All ships focus fire on their eyes. Dozens of beams lanced forward, converging on one of the Titans. Its armor cracked. A deep echoing sound rolled through the vacuum like thunder. The creature fell back, molten metal spilling from its wound. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Roan didn't smile. 1 down. 21 to go. Then something unexpected happened. The wounded Titan didn't die. It disintegrated into light, breaking into hundreds of fragments that spread outward. The pieces drifted silently, then attached themselves to the other Titans, merging with their forms. The reading spiked again. They were learning, adapting, sharing. Admiral, said the science officer, horror creeping into his tone. They're evolving. Every time we destroy one, the rest grow stronger. Rowan's hand clenched into a fist. So they're hunters and survivors, perfect. He stared at the planet. We can't stop them here. He turned to his comms officer. Send this to Earth Command. Vashra Prime is active. The predators are loose. We're engaging, but will not hold. Tell them. He hesitated, his eyes on the burning surface below. Tell them they need her. The officer frowned. Her, sir? Roan nodded. The one they called the Resonant. The woman whose heartbeat woke them. The transmission cut out as another shockwave slammed the fleet. Roan gritted his teeth and held the railing. The Titans rose higher now, breaking free from the planet's gravity. 21 hunters turned their burning gaze toward humanity's fleet, spreading their wings of metal and fire. Earth was now within their reach. And somewhere, light years away, a woman's pulse quickened, echoing the same rhythm that now thundered across the galaxy. The Earth fleet was burning over the blue curve of the planet. Dozens of ships hovered in a defensive ring, their hulls scorched and venting oxygen into the void. On every radar and sensor, the enemy appeared like an approaching storm. The 21 Titans had left the dead world of Vashra Prime and were now closing in on Earth. Their immense silhouettes blotted out stars as they advanced, living fortresses of metal and fire. The bridge of the command ship Sentinel Arc. Admiral Roan stood before the main viewport, his reflection pale in the red emergency lights. Status, he ordered. Shields at 40%, replied Lieutenant Vega. 3 cruisers destroyed, 5 disabled. The Titans are in high orbit. They're scanning us. Roan's jaw tightened. They're studying. Just like before. The fleet had thrown everything it had. Kinetic rounds, plasma torpedoes, rail cannons. But nothing could destroy the creatures completely. They learned, adapted, and evolved faster than any weapon humanity had ever faced. But this was Earth. Humanity had nowhere else to run. Roan looked down at the surface through the viewport. Blue oceans, white clouds, cities glowing like constellations. He'd seen countless worlds, but none like this one. Earth was not just a planet. It was the heart of a species that had refused extinction more times than history could count. And now it was time to make the galaxy remember that. Send out the call, Roan said quietly. All systems, all stations. Operation Leviathan Protocol. A hush fell across the bridge. Every officer stared at him in disbelief. Vega swallowed. Sir, that's restricted. The Council banned its activation. Roan turned slowly. The Council isn't here. His eyes hardened. They left us to die when they quarantined that world. We're doing this our way. Across every human ship, encrypted orders flashed through the networks. On Earth, deep beneath the crust, hidden silos and orbital weapon arrays came alive. Old machines, the kind humanity swore it would never use again, began to hum with power. Buried reactors reignited after a century of silence. The Sentinel Arcs. Sensors flared as massive gravitational signatures appeared behind the moon. 22 colossal rings unfolded from shadow, ancient orbital platforms humanity had built during the first contact wars, then sealed away. They were called the Silent Chain, weapons too destructive to ever be used again. Each one was capable of bending gravity itself. The ship's AI confirmed activation. Leviathan Protocol engaged, Earth defense systems synchronizing. Estimated yield, planetary scale, Roan nodded. Good. Let's remind the predators what humans do when cornered. But while the fleet prepared, another scene unfolded far from orbit. Deep in the mountains of northern Europe, inside an underground research base, a young woman sat in a reinforced glass chamber, surrounded by humming machines. Her name was Lyra. Monitors displayed her heartbeat in glowing green waves, steady, rhythmic, and powerful. Dr. Malin, the lead scientist, stood beside the observation window, his face pale. Her pulse, it synchronized with the Vajra frequency again. The same resonance that woke them. Lyra's voice came faintly through the comm. You said they were moving. Are they coming here? Yes, Malin answered. And they're responding to you. Every time your heart rate changes, their energy signatures fluctuate. Lyra looked down at her hands. So it's my fault, Malin shook his head. No, you didn't awaken them. You're connected to them. Somehow your body carries the same frequency. Maybe you can stop them. Outside the chamber, alarms blared. The base shook. A projection showed one of the Vajra Titans descending through the atmosphere, breaking through the upper layers like a falling star. Roan's voice came through the comm line. Dr. Malin, we're out of time. Get her ready. We need her to use the resonance field. She's not trained for this, Malin protested. We don't even understand the limits of the connection. Roan's tone was calm but sharp. If she doesn't try, there won't be anyone left to understand anything. The Earth trembled as the first of the Titans entered orbit. Their claws glowed orange as they extended long spears of energy toward the planet's surface, probing the atmosphere like hunters testing a trap. The skies over Asia and Europe darkened as if eclipsed by something vast. Lyra stood in the center of the chamber, eyes closed, breathing slowly. What do I have to do? Match your pulse to the Vajra rhythm, Malin said softly. But invert the signal. If they feel you as part of them, maybe you can turn that link against them. Make them see you as a command source. I can't promise it'll work, she whispered. Neither can we, he said. But you're all we've got. The monitors spiked as her heartbeat accelerated. The same deep thud that had echoed across the galaxy now pulsed again. But different, steadier, sharper. On every human ship, systems began to resonate with her signal. The Leviathan protocol adjusted automatically, syncing to the new frequency. In orbit, the Titans hesitated. Their formation wavered. For the first time since awakening, they stopped advancing. On the Sentinel arc, Vega gasped, Admiral, look! The scanners showed the Titans drifting apart, their shields flickering with interference. Lyra's pulse had reached them. Boost the resonance through the gravity net, Rowan ordered. Amplify her signal across the orbital chain. Beams of white light erupted from the silent chain platforms, linking across the void into a massive grid. Energy arced between them like veins of lightning. The entire planet glowed with a soft white halo. The Titans roared, a sound that made the sky tremble. Their bodies contorted as if resisting invisible chains. Energy burst from their cores, colliding with the field. For a moment, the entire orbit became a storm of fire and light. Lyra's pulse quickened. She felt their rage in her mind, their confusion, their hunger, their ancient pain. They had been imprisoned for ages, trapped in silence. But now they saw her not as prey, but as command. Her voice echoed through the comm system, calm but heavy. They're listening, Roan leaned forward. Then tell them to stop. Lyra's eyes opened, glowing faintly gold. She reached out her hand toward the observation glass. Returned to silence, her pulse spiked. The resonance field flared across orbit. The Titans froze. Their eyes dimmed. The light in their bodies began to fade one by one like stars going out. But then the readings changed again. The resonance didn't stop, it grew. The silent chain overloaded, alarms blaring across every ship. Vega shouted, Admiral, it's feeding back. The field's collapsing. Roan slammed his hand on the console. Shut it down. It's not us, Vega cried. She's still connected. In the chamber, Lyra trembled, her heartbeat hammering faster than human limits. The machines sparked around her, glass cracking. Malin hit the override, but the systems refused. She's merging with the field. The signal's consuming her. Her voice came softly through the speakers. If they sleep again, they'll wake one day. They'll find another way out. I can't let that happen. Roan's voice broke through. Lyra, listen to me. You don't have to die for this. We'll find another way. She smiled weakly, her eyes unfocused. Maybe this is what I was born for. Outside, the Titans screamed as their energy cores imploded. One by one they fell silent, their massive forms drifting lifeless into orbit. But in the same moment, every console on the Sentinel arc went dark. The resonance field vanished. The silence that followed was absolute. Then far below, deep in the mountain base, the pulse monitors went flat. The heartbeat that had saved humanity stopped. The fleet watched in awe as the last of the Vashra Titans crumbled into dust, scattering across the stars. Roan closed his eyes. "She did it," he whispered. "She stopped them." But on the far side of the moon, hidden from every scanner, a single fragment of molten metal pulsed faintly, once, twice, matching a rhythm that no longer existed on Earth.